Mr. Chair.
Tim McIntyre.
Take another call because I want to begin by utterly the offensive suggestion that this government is in the pockets of the hospitality industry. I first of all make the point that the hospitality industry did not welcome the amendment that I put forward seeking to raise the purchase age for alcohol. I'd secondly make the point that we are looking at a range of ways to reduce alcohol-related harm, and we're tackling the crisis that Mr. CEO has just talked about head-on, unlike the previous Labor government, which had 9 years and did little, and now talks tough in opposition. Mr. Chair, the liquor industry is the body that is promoting the idea of minimum pricing. That's because, in large part, it benefits members of the industry. They're the ones, the retailers, who will gain most from the introduction of minimum pricing. We want to ensure that we introduce measures that are effective in other ways. Mr. Speaker, the industry has agreed to regulate to introduce a code on RTDs. But we have made it very clear to the industry that if they don't get it right, we will regulate, and we've put the provision into this bill so that one way or the other we'll make sure that we get the whole culture around RTDs right. So, as I say, those are just three examples that I would give Mr. CEO as to how the government is quite clearly not in the pockets of the hospitality industry, and I can assure him that I haven't come under any pressure from the industry as the chair of the Justice and Electoral Committee, and if I had done, I would have made it very clear that I wasn't interested and pushed them away. Mr. Chair, I want to move to some of the things that this bill does achieve rather than the things that it doesn't, because quite clearly this bill will make it much harder for people to get access to alcohol. But what we need to do is to strike the balance between not making it impossible for the many people who can use alcohol safely, and I'd like to think that I'm in that group. We want to be able to ensure that alcohol can continue to be a social stimulant used responsibly, but we must ensure that we tackle the many abuses of it that we see, particularly but not exclusively amongst young people, where binge drinking is such a problem. I want to pay tribute to a man from my city of Hamilton, Mr. Cliff Turner, who I have got to know and respect deeply, although I should say at the outset I'm sure he's never voted National in his life, and I acknowledge the fact that he would like this bill to go further than it does. But I mention him in the context of what the bill is doing about advertising and irresponsible promotion of alcohol. Because Mr. Turner is a man well known to the Advertising Standards Authority as someone who has regularly referred to the authority his grave concerns about the way that alcohol has been marketed in the past, particularly to young people, where it's glamorised and made to look as if it's an essential component of their lifestyle. And I think that he has done a stunning job, and I would like to feel that he could take some credit for the fact that in this bill we have toughened up on irresponsible promotions. For instance, no longer will it be possible to have those sorts of come and drink all as much as you like, as long as you like, for as little as you like, in some of the pubs that cater particularly for the student population. We will no longer have advertising that is intentionally trying to glamorise alcohol, particularly for young people. It will, as a result of the measures in this bill, be harder for young people to get drunk. It will, as a result of the measures in this bill, be possible for communities to have a much greater say about when and where alcohol is sold. It will no longer, under this bill, be possible for supermarkets just to have alcohol displays in the entrances, at every end of the aisles, and in all of the places where we see it at the moment, so that it's in your face. That is going to change. It will, under this bill, be possible for alcohol-related penalties to be better enforced. And as I say, this is a bill that reflects a huge amount of work. The size of it tells you just how substantial it is. It is in large measure an implementation of the recommendations of the Law Commission. That huge tome that they did such a great job on, the overwhelming number of recommendations of the Law Commission are reflected in this bill, and a few that weren't are reflected in the SOP that the Minister, the Honourable Judith Collins, brought forward to toughen it further. I acknowledge the fact that there will always be division over certain measures, and there'll always be division as to where you draw the line. But I am absolutely convinced that this bill is the best thing to happen in improving our dangerous alcohol culture in a very long period of time.
Honourable Leanne Dalziel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is good to follow on from that member because